lost my father really young. He stood up for some guy getting picked on at a bar, and they stabbed him to death. I kept going and going. I kept winning fights, and I just couldn't stop. I went 26-0 before I lost my first fight, and then I fought for the UFC. You need to understand the feelings that comes with MMA. Losing, winning, having a war, fight. Take as many as you can, experience everything. Whatever I've set my mind to, I have to accomplish, finish all the way through. I started fighting, and I've been a champion in every organization that I've been a part of. So I think I can get up to the belt. The only thing that holds me back is my health. I do not have good health. So it's hard for me to do what everybody else does. Seeing what fighting does to people. It's taken lives, taken a life of mine. Fighting isn't my passion. Knowing that I have become so good at it, it is like a destiny.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the freezer. In the UK, it is still bloody cold at the moment, and welcome to episode 50. Can you believe it? At the end of 2023, I had a goal to reach 50 episodes in 2024. Although I didn't reach it in 2024, I'm delighted to have now reached this milestone. How does it feel? No different to before. That is what they call the hedonic treadmill, where you're always kind of looking for the next thing. But I'm doing my best to try and celebrate this moment and be proud of myself for getting to this many episodes. I'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of this so far, all my wonderful guests, those of you that have been tuning in from time to time, and especially those that tune in every single week. Next week's episode, I think it'll be next week's episode, I'm going to do an AMA Ask Me Anything. So if you've got a question, please send it me via Instagram or YouTube comment or whatever is the easiest format for you. Feel free to ask me whatever you want. And yeah, I'm looking forward to an exciting 2025 with lots more exciting guests and more regular High Rocks and training episodes, which will be running alongside the other episodes, which are more to do with self-health, wealth, well-being, all that kind of thing. So my guest today is Mike Davis. Mike is a UFC fighter. I was absolutely stoked to get him to come on the podcast, and we had an awesome chat. I think this is full of lots of wisdom. He's a super interesting guy and definitely not what you would normally expect from someone at the top of MMA. This was quite a wide-ranging conversation. We touched a little bit on his background, childhood, upbringing, into how he made it into the UFC. And then we got into some tactful stuff about training and nutrition and stuff like that. I think there are some really interesting points in here, and whether or not you are interested in UFC or training, it's still going to be an interesting episode for anyone to listen to. Please, if you haven't already, follow or subscribe me, and I hope you enjoy my conversation with Mike Davis. Mike, so my intention today really is to understand what it takes to become a mixed martial artist competing in the UFC. So I'd like to start by asking you, what's the journey that you've been on to become the person you are today and what you do?
So you like my life story?
Yeah. Take me as far back as you allow.
All right. I was born in New York. 2 years after my birth, my dad, he's up here. He's not on my wall yet, but I have a poster for him. He got into a bar altercation. He stood up for some guy getting picked on at a bar, and they stabbed him to death. So I lost my father really young. I grew up with my mom, but she was never home because she was working 3 jobs to take care of us. Didn't live, like a great life. I think it was amazing. I think I grew up, I learned a lot. Times go by. I'm in high school. I'm in middle school. I get picked on a lot. I'm like borderline suicidal, no friends, really hating my existence, honestly. And I found friends through the game Halo, which I did a story on before. It was my first, I think it wasn't my first console, but it was the first time that I found like people to play with. I had a PlayStation and that was games like Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank and stuff. So it was more by myself. When I got into Xbox, I managed to get Xbox Live, and I played Halo with a bunch of random people I met, and I had friends, and I felt good. I felt like I had a purpose. I was a great kid. The bullying, I wanted to stop, so we got into high school, and it kept going because I was small. So my mom had coworkers. She said her coworker. Oh, let's start back from me. Let's start from me because it didn't start there. I wanted to defend myself, so I joined the wrestling team. Not to defend myself, but to have like a place. A group of people that I belong to, because I always see when you're involved in sports, which I was, every sport you can think of, you had friends, you had a friend group. So I became friends with everybody at the wrestling place. But it wasn't enough because wrestling doesn't solve anything. So I rode my bicycle to Customato's boxing gym, which is the same gym as Mike Tyson. That gym was, I think, 12 miles away, one way. I rode my bike to this gym. I explained what I was doing and what I needed to the coaches. And then Kevin Rooney said that I could train at the boxing gym for free as long as I don't fight anybody. So it was really good. He taught me Customato style peekaboo. Same style as Mike Tyson. I boxed there for 5 years, maybe. People stopped picking on me because I was doing wrestling and boxing at the same time. I was big. I grew randomly. I just became this big, massive 162-pound high schooler. So it's crazy. I grew a lot. The bullying stopped, so I loved what I was doing. My mother worked at a job where there's people that did MMA. I had no idea what it was. And she told me to go try it out. And I said, I don't want to do that. I like my boxing. And she explained it. She's like, it's boxing and wrestling at the same time in the same place. I was like, oh, so yeah, maybe I would like that. So I went to go try it, and I loved it. I loved the training. We watched YouTube videos to learn how to do arm bars and triangles. Just a random little group in like a shed. And they signed me up for a fight that I didn't know about. They're like, yo, we're going to go train at this other gym. And we show up, and now here I am winning fights. And I kept going and going. And I joined a real gym, and then I kept winning fights, and I just couldn't stop. I went 26-0 before I lost my first fight. This is amateur and pro. I was 10-0 as an amateur, 4-0 Muay Thai, 1-0 AMI boxing, 5-0 professional MMA, 4-0 professional boxing. And then I fought for the UFC. I got called for the UFC. I fought Sadiq Yusuf. I don't think his picture's up there, but I lost that fight. And
that was your first fight, the UFC?
That was my first loss in the UFC, yeah. For the Contender series.
Okay. What is that process for getting selected?
Win. The UFC is very not as selective as they used to be, but they're very selective, and you need to fight in a regional scene where the organization is known kind of throughout the country, not just your state. There's a lot of fighters will fight for this one little organization in their state, and they'll be 10-0 and stuff like that as a professional, but nobody knows who they are because it's like strictly to that state. Me and a lot of other fighters came from Island Fights, which is a regional promotion that fly people from across the country. They have Combat Night now is getting recognized. Cage Warriors, of course, if you're in the other side, UK. Is Cage Warriors over there, right?
I'm not sure, actually. I'm not like a huge UFC guy. Like I do like it, but I wouldn't know. I have to admit, I get a bit confused with all the different.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
But getting into the UFC, I did a video on it. It went kind of viral. It was all about winning fights. You, as an amateur, you just need to fight. An amateur record, your record as a pro starts from blank. So as an amateur, you need to win. You need to. I honestly think you need to lose. I think you need to take fights that you're not supposed to win and go try to win.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you need to experience that feeling, because if it happens to you as a pro when you're doing really well, it's going to derail you a little bit. So I feel like as an amateur, you need to understand the feelings that comes with MMA: losing, winning, having a war, having a flashy KO. Like, go fight, take as many as you can. I did 10. Uh, experience everything. Then when you turn pro, it starts fresh. Make sure before you turn pro that you're not losing any amateur fights anymore. So start off, you start your amateur career off with that 0-0 guy. Uh, you've been training, you're supposed to win that fight. That's the confidence that makes you keep going. After you win your first one or two, step it up a notch. Fight somebody that fights as good as you, or maybe a little less. Have a good scrap. Then step it up again and fight someone that's supposed to be better than you. Like, he's better than you. He's supposed to be. Go fight him. You can win, you can draw, you can lose. That's an experience that you need. After that, work on the things. If you lost, work on the things that made you lose. Did you lose, your control in the back? Did you get taken down too much? Your striking is a little bad. Work on that stuff. Go fight again. And if you can continue a win streak, then I'd say go pro. Once you go pro, don't make any mistakes. Win as many as you can in a row, and the UFC will find you.
So it's almost like progressive overload, just in general in training. What you're suggesting or recommending, like take it up, then maybe bring it down a little bit, and then take it up.
Yeah.
And taking risks in your training, because
For
otherwise
sure.
you're never going to find out, right? I want to just take it back slightly.
Yeah.
I want to understand your motivation a little bit. So obviously, you spoke about bullying at school, and you mentioned your dad tragically being killed in a bar fight, sticking up for someone, right? Was that right?
Yeah. It was
Do you think
bullying since the beginning.
Pardon?
Maybe not me. They said it's been about bullying since the beginning. Maybe not under my skin, but my dad stood up to bullies. And when I grew up, I was the bullied until I became, strong like my dad. And it made me feel good. Gave me a really high feeling.
It's a really beautiful motivation behind becoming a fighter. I never used to like UFC. I never used to like boxing. I was always a little bit kind of like put off by that, just that the nastiness and that I would see, and I never really
People call it
understood it.
barbaric a lot.
Barbaric, yeah.
Hey, I get that word a lot. They call it
Yeah,
barbaric.
barbarianism. And it wasn't until actually I heard about jiu-jitsu, and there was no striking. I went and trained jiu-jitsu for a little while, and then after that, I could totally start to understand it, and because I train a lot as well, you start to respect the level of training and what it takes. And yeah, I think that's awesome. I think I heard one of your interviews, your post-fight interviews, and you said that your motivation isn't that you didn't enjoy hurting people.
I just don't see fighting isn't my passion. That's what I told the world, which is true. After seeing what fighting does to people, it's taken lives, taken a life of mine that drastically changed my life. Fighting isn't my passion. Knowing that I have become so good at it, it is like a destiny.
Mm.
You don't really avoid your destiny. I'm so good at fighting. It would be shameful for me not to continue.
Interesting. What's your UFC record?
In the UFC,
Yeah,
I am 4-2, I think. Under the main UFC, I'm 4-1.
4-1.
Yeah, I have the other losses, the Contender Series, but
Mm.
I don't know. It's the UFC banner.
Hmm. How do those rankings work as well? I was trying to figure out because obviously you have like the overall pound for pound rankings, and then I was looking at like lightweight rankings because that's your division, right?
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
lightweight.
And that was it. Like seemed a little bit more conflicted. I found some websites, and some of them you'd be, like position 25, and then I couldn't find you on others. I
Yeah,
just wondered.
it's kind of all over the place. The
Yeah.
rankings are kind of man made until you hit the top 15. That's the only one that the UFC counts.
Mm,
So it's like fan made. There you go.
fan made. Okay.
Yeah, fan made until you hit the top 15. The top 15 are the only time the UFC considers you ranking in the ranks.
Right. Okay.
Other than
Um.
that, it's just people being like, "Oh, he's beat this guy, so he's got to be, like in the 20s and that kind of
Right.
stuff."
Right. Got you. What do you think? What do you think of the non-negotiable traits that you need to have to compete in the UFC?
Wrestling. Um, all the champions around the world have always wrestled. They all wrestle. Everyone has.
Mm.
I don't know about Sean O'Malley, but everyone else has. Uh, some kind of striking, and it doesn't have to be great. Again, the wrestling is so under underutilized, I guess.
Mhm.
So I think of it like this: boxer, if you have striking, but you can't wrestle, there's a 90% chance you lose every fight. If you hit me one good time and I'm like, I don't want that anymore, and I can wrestle, I'm going to win. I'm going to shoot on your legs. You don't know how to defend. I'm going to hold you down for 3 rounds. That's what's going to happen.
Mhm.
That's exactly how it's going to happen. But if you can wrestle, but you can't strike, you mainly just bite down your mouthpiece and slug. If you hit me and you knock me out, congratulations. But if you're getting beat up, take me down. So wrestling is definitely the number one. I think you should have very good wrestling with very good jujitsu.
Mm.
Your striking can actually be mediocre.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it feels like all people talk about is Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu,
Yeah, yeah,
and
I
wrestling for
know.
some
But
reason,
wrestling,
yeah, doesn't seem to get talked about as much.
I don't know. I gave you like a perfect explanation. There's a
Yeah,
perfect
yeah.
way, a perfect reason why you need to know how to wrestle. If you hit me too hard and I'm like, whoa, I don't want that again, I can wrestle. I'm going to
Hmm.
take you down
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm going to win the fight. And I love Vyacheslav. He's a good friend. He's right above me, this guy.
Mhm.
We fought October 2022. And in the last round, Vyacheslav can't wrestle. All right. It's well known. He can't wrestle. He hit me one good time and uh, cracked my orbital bone, so I was bleeding, and I couldn't see out of this eye, but I can wrestle. So I grabbed him, put him on the floor, and held him down for 4 minutes. And I won the fight. This wrestling is important.
Fuck yeah. Beast Boy, that's your nickname. Where did that come from?
Teen Titans.
Team Titans.
The Teen Titans.
Teen Titans, what's that?
You don't know the Teen Titans?
No.
Oh, okay. It's kind of like Justice League for kids. It's
Right,
like the
okay.
kid version of the Justice League. Beast Boy is, or his name's Garfield, but Beast Boy is a powered human that can change into any animal.
Okay.
Any
What's
animal
that
from this planet and beyond. So any creature, any organism.
what's that
Uh
mean to you that
yeah, so when I first started, MMA. I went to a school. There's a guy named Eric. He's a bigger anime nerd than I was. But he watched me train, and we were getting ready for a fight. They would throw a boxer. We were doing like round robin. No, Shark Tank. Or Shark Tank, where I'm in the middle and they're sending someone new every like 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. So in the first 2 minutes, I got this guy who could box really well. So I'm a good boxer. So I started boxing back. Then they're like 2 minutes. They threw a jiu-jitsu guy in, like completely threw it off. I was like, oh, and he started shooting on me, trying to, do jiu-jitsu. And I was able to combat the jiu-jitsu with jiu-jitsu. Then they threw a wrestler at me. And of course, I've wrestled. So it was back and forth and mostly dominant from me wrestling. So I was adapting to whatever and whoever they put in there with me. And after that, he was like, dang, this guy's like Beast Boy. Like, no matter what environment or what challenge they put ahead of him, he just changed into that to adapt and succeed. I was like, damn. And then I've been Beast Boy ever since.
That's cool.
I think I was 15, 16 when I got that name. Maybe 16.
Yeah, it's a good name. Like, especially like now you explain it. Yeah, that's cool. You said earlier when I talked about what traits you needed. You said wrestling. What about mindset traits, personality traits?
You can be whoever you want. So the personality doesn't matter. I know that people put on fake personalities just for the show. Because at the end of it, you are building like a brand. You're showing the world who you are and what why they should follow you, why they should support you and like you as a fighter. So if you want to be crazy guy, then yeah, Ian Kutalabe, I think that's his name. You just go out there and be him. If you want to be the respectful guy, I think that's in more my realm. I've never bad talked anybody. I've never, I just show up and beat you. Like, it's just easy that way. I don't have any bad intention or I guess I gotta win, but I don't have any hate towards you. You're just a person testing your skills that you've learned over the years, and I'm doing the same. Yeah, it's kind of like playing a real life video game. It's just a boss fight. You are out going to training, figuring out what weapons you need to fight this guy, what things you need to work on to fight the boss, and then you get to the boss fight. You try it. If you win, congrats. Now you go to the next boss. If you lose, you go back out in the world. You restart. You find new things, better things, and go do it again.
Do you think? Do you think like being like a nice guy that doesn't have this character built up around him? Do you think that holds your brand back at all?
Yeah, for sure. People want, I don't know, rage and hate. It's just what people like to see in the world. But I don't know, I wasn't raised that way. It's just weird for me.
Yeah, it's like I guess that's why WWE is such a big thing. Because
yeah,
you've got the heels, haven't you?
You said mindset too. I do believe mindset is important. If you're in your head too much, then that's cause to lose a fight. You won't probably lose that fight. You can't overthink of your opponent. You can't give them that edge on you, because when you go into the cage, you're always supposed to think that I'm winning the fight. I've trained better, I've trained longer, I know more, I'm stronger. You have to have that mentality. And I have a mental therapist with the UFC that I talk to before my fights. Oh, that's Micah. I talk to him all the time. He helps me a lot.
Interesting.
Just because I don't like to think about my fights. I don't like to look up the person I'm fighting. That makes it so much worse. People are like, yeah, let me study this guy. I've never seen him fight. And you look him up, and what are you going to find when you look someone up? The things that make him look great. Him slamming someone on their head, knocking people out. You're not going to see him losing. Nobody posts. I don't post when I lose. I don't post things about me losing. I only post great clips of me doing great. So that's what you're gonna see, and it's gonna, be like, okay, he's really good. Oh my god, he's really good. But really, maybe he's like scared, or maybe he doesn't know how to do the things that you do. He doesn't know how to negate your jujitsu, stuff like that. And that's exactly how I felt against my last fight, Nathan. Because my coach was like, Mike, you need to watch this. This guy throws a lot of kicks. This guy does a lot of spinning stuff. He can wrestle. He can do jujitsu. He's very good. You got to watch these. Like, I don't really care. Just tell me the main like 3 things he does that you see in every fight. Let's work on those. And I don't care to see his fights. When the fight came, it didn't. I hit him one time, and that was it.
Yeah, interesting. It's like by not going too far into like researching your opponent, it's like you come into the fight with like that beginner's mind. You're more reactive
Yeah,
to the situation. There's so many similarities with video games here.
I'm a big
That
gamer.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm a big gamer.
um, yeah, and getting that balance right, because as you say, it's like you don't want to be in your head, but you want to be present with what's happening. Um, but then you also need that little bit of confidence, like you say, that I'm going to win this fight. I'm the best to like. But then you kind of, I guess you can't run too far with that. You've also got to stay in the zone, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, fascinating. Um, your last fight was scheduled against Drew Dober. You had to pull out.
yeah,
Bicep injury. How's that going?
good. I don't know if you can get it in camera. This right here, my scar. Uh, it was freak accident. I've never been hurt like that before. I train. I've wrestled 15 years. I switch on every person. I don't know. It was super weird. And when it was happening, I was like, I'm gonna hurt my arm here, and I felt it. Like I knew it.
Hmm.
I put my arm in for a switch. I felt how much space I had. I was like, there's no way I can't even pull my arm out. I couldn't pull my arm out. And I was like, damn, I'm gonna hurt my arm right here. And yeah, I didn't think it would be that bad. I thought, because it's happened before, a little crack,
Hmm.
a little pull of the muscle, but never. I completely separated my bicep. It
Wow.
snapped here. So they sliced me up, put a hook in to pull my bicep down, drilled it through this bone, and anchored it on the other side. So it feels
Wow.
good now. Yeah, I got all
Yeah.
my strength back. I do feel it sometimes when I take impact, but it's nothing that would bother me.
Yeah, I read your Instagram post. It was in the summer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it happened in June. I was supposed to fight July. It happened at the middle of June, I think.
Yeah. It was quite an emotional post. I like
Sucked.
I felt your frustration in I think you said, yeah, it was, I don't know what to do anymore, or something. It was something really um so where you at now in terms of, so you've obviously had your surgery and you're recovering. What's your, have you got any fights coming up?
I just put my name back out there to get a fight, so I'm hoping to fight. A lot of my teammates, Terrence McKinney and Lucas Alexander, are fighting February 1st in Saudi Arabia. I would love to get on that with them.
Mm,
It'd be a good way to start off the year. I'd never lost a fight in February, so that'd be really good.
that's a good
I think I
omen.
fought like 2 times in February.
All right, if you could fight anyone, who would it be? Top three? Who would you pick?
Jim Miller,
Jim Miller,
Patty the Batty,
Paddy.
uh, BSD,
Nice.
or who's that other guy? Um, I don't know. I don't know names. I don't like calling people out. What's his name? Benil Dariush.
Garyush. Yeah, there's like lots of like hard to pronounce names in the UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to clip it up. We'll tag him in it, see if we can get you a fight. Paddy's not too far from me, actually.
He's fighting. Patty won't fight me. Jim Miller is up in the air. I mean, I don't like calling people out. I just fight whoever they put in front of me. So Jim Miller's up in the air. I don't think he has an opponent, and he just won. Congrats, by the way. Great guillotine. Who is my other person? BSD. BSD just came off a loss from Moicano, which understandable, bro. Moicano's crazy. Moicano's so good. But yeah, I mean, he's up in the air too.
What's do you have like do you have a goal for UFC? Like, do you want to get into that top 15 or become champion? Yeah, like
I feel like whatever I've set my mind to, I have to accomplish, finish all the way through. I started fighting, and I've been a champion in every organization that I've been a part of, pro and amateur. So I think this is something that I can get up to the belt. I think so.
What's the average?
The only thing that holds me back is my health. I do not have good health, so it's hard for me, to do what everybody else does. I don't want to. I cannot fight 4 times a year like everybody else. I can't. My body won't let me do it.
Do you have like a specific condition or anything? Or
I have so many. I have mastocytosis, aggressive systemic mastocytosis, which I've learned to explain by saying microscopic cancer cells that affect my organs.
Wow.
Very painful. I haven't had any kind of episodes in a long time, since probably 18 years old. But I do feel like my organs have definitely taken damage. My kidneys are not good. My lungs are okay, still better than the average, but they're not as good as they used to be. My liver is the same, so it's kind of nonsense. That's bullshit, really. I try so hard to be healthy. I have 4. I think this is my 4th or my 3rd cases of Lyme disease. So Lyme disease, in one case of its own, is enough to break the body. I've gotten it 4 times, 3 or 4 times. I don't remember.
Wow.
So my joints, my fucking joints are so weak. My shoulders, I have torn both my shoulders, my knee, my hip, now my bicep snap in half.
You're quite young, aren't you? You're in your 20s, aren't you?
I'm 32.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm 32.
Oh, I
don't look it. No, I don't look it, and I don't feel it. I move around really well. Yeah, I'm 32.
Do you think how'd you get Lyme disease?
As a kid,
Right.
the bullying and the nonsense, I was always trying to get away. So I would run into the woods, and I would stay out in the woods for days, like 2-3 days at a time.
Really?
Yeah, I'd build forts. I would sleep in the forts. I would make fires. I've eaten worms and beetles and ants. Yeah, bro, I've been out there.
What did your mum think when you didn't come home for like 2 days, 2-3 days? Did she know where you were?
I was old enough at this point where she kind of trusted where I was and how I was. She's not super strict. Never had like a curfew or anything like that. When I was a kid, like baby, I was leaving the house. It was like 2 years old. she'd get a call from the neighbors, be like, I swear your son is down at the pond throwing rocks. And I was too, diaper on and everything, like just chilling.
Interesting.
Yeah, I could ride a bike, no training wheels at 2 years old. I could do a lot. I'm very mentally advanced.
Would you class yourself as an introvert?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an introvert. If I could stay here, I would never leave. I would just stay in this room all day. I
What's
go train. That's kind of my life right now. I just go train, and then
yeah.
after training, I'll come back here, and this is where I'll be until I fall asleep.
Are you is it just you? Have you got a girlfriend, wife, anything?
Yeah, my girlfriend. I've been with her for 3.5 years, I think.
Oh, nice.
My longest relationship. She's been good. We just got back from Vegas. We went to Friendsgiving out in Vegas. Did some hikes in Red Rock. It's really, really cold right now. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's cool. I've never been to Vegas. Yeah,
it's
sounds.
definitely a place to be. If you They have nature, hiking trails, Grand Canyon, everything. You can take ATVs out into the desert, shoot in the desert. You can do a lot of stuff out there. And then if you like party life, it's all the strip is just party and lights and
Yeah,
food and just life. It's crazy.
yeah, you definitely hear about that side of it. You said that fighting wasn't your passion. What is your passion?
I like to help people. I think helping people that have been bullied or are being bullied learn how to overcome it, either by training or learning how to fight themselves. I teach martial arts. I do seminars around the world. I invite anyone that is out there that needs someone to talk to. My DMs are open. I invite them into my Discord. We can talk one on one, face to face. I just try to do the best I can in life and help people out, especially kids. I get a lot of kids that message me.
Yeah, that's cool. Outside of outside of learning to defend yourself, what's some advice that you commonly give for someone who's getting picked on?
People that are getting picked on need to learn that the people who are bullying often go through things themselves. And most of the time, I think having a talk helps. And it sounds crazy, but if you just invite your bully to sit and talk, I've gotten over like 3 bullies that way.
Mm,
I've explained, my situation. They understand on another level. Uh, or um, try to get into what they're doing. If they're like basketball players, try to ask them to join a game of basketball. If you're decent at basketball, you're automatically friends. So, that kind of things. Um, Everybody always thinks that fighting is the way to solve, and I don't think so. I
mm.
think if you can stand side by side with someone you hate, it kind of negates that a lot.
Yeah, because bullying isn't just about how big you are, is it? It's you can be small and light and not very strong, or but you can have confidence and directness and be able
Yeah.
to, like you say, it's that you're looking to be respected, aren't you? And by just talking like man to man or boy to boy, that's like they'll respect you for that, right?
Yeah. No, 100%. Maybe not as a kid. I'm not sure. As kids, I've noticed that they don't really care.
Mm,
But if you're being bullied from like the middle school, high school times, having a conversation definitely helps. If you're ever being bullied in college, definitely talk to that person.
yeah,
And if
I
it comes
do.
down to it, I say at the end, if you can't solve by talking, squabble up. Just put on some gloves Make a circle, let your friends make a circle and just fight one time. And then afterwards, shake hands and then just call it.
Mm. Yeah, I didn't really get bullied, but you know, I was definitely one of the quieter kids when I was younger. And then I always talk about this, how like when I went into high school, I literally I put on this mask, which I'm like learning about now. Put on this extroverted mask, and then I became like the clown. Like I was just silly things, and then I would
Mm-hmm.
make people laugh and befriend people that were bigger than me.
Yep.
And then that was like my way of like finding that protection, which yeah, it's still something I'm unpacking. it,
No, I
uh,
know that one. I still
it,
know people like that.
yeah, yeah, it's a funny one. Um, what about training? Um, what's your training look like at the moment? Do you do your own programming? Do you have a coach? What's
No, I do everything by myself. Um, I have a degree in exercise physiology and nutrition.
oh cool.
So I never really needed anybody to do strength and conditioning for me or help me with my diet because I make weight. Not 45. I've missed weight at 45 twice, but
Hmm.
45 is hard and I'm done with that. So staying at 55 is super easy for me to get to. I don't walk around very heavy, maybe like 172. Right now, I'm heaviest I've ever been because of the injury. I'm on like 180.
Hmm.
Uh, but once I get back to 72, I'd say like I'm ready to get a fight anyway. So, um, my training is daily, every morning from 10 to 1:30 ish. It's
Hmm.
quite a while, but there's a lot learned there. I drill a lot. I don't I don't spar hard almost ever. I don't think I ever spar hard, honestly. Um, After
What?
training, I mostly come home. I eat, I shower, eat, I game. If my body is hurting, I try to listen to my body. If my body feels good, I go run or lift at night.
Mm. And so your morning, obviously that's a big old block in the morning. What's
Huge.
that look like? Are you starting with like activation, strength work? What kind
No,
of?
so 10 a.m. is, we'll just say like Monday. So 10 a.m. is BJJ gi.
Hmm.
So we do a warm up. I always show up a little early, uh, or a little late if I wake up late, but I always try to get there and stretch. I try to stretch quite a bit, not holding my stretches, but like bouncing my stretches. So my body's used to whipping, like joints
Dynamics, so
getting,
yeah.
yeah. So they're not all elongated for a long period of time. That's actually kind of bad for your body if you train that way.
Hmm.
So I do that. I do my jujitsu. Straight after jujitsu, a Monday is MMA drilling. So we grab a partner, and then we do drilling for like an hour and a half ish, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, and then we do live rounds of what we just drilled for another hour for 45 minutes.
Cool. And then the evenings you'll have a run or do some
Yeah.
lifting.
Yep.
Do you do
Well,
any like?
I don't lift. I don't think I ever lift. Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
really
don't
don't
do
lift.
lifting.
I don't lift at all. I just run, do the stairs, and nonsense. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
getting back to lifting. I do not lift at all.
Right. Interesting. So all that the muscle you develop is basically through conditioning work and sparring and
Yeah.
BJJ and
Yep.
looks like you've got a
I
pretty insane core. Is that all the BJJ?
um I have no idea how. I eat mostly cereal and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like this is the main thing I eat. So I don't know how I look this way. I really don't.
Yeah, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Yeah, man, I love them so much. They don't love me though. It's the bread. I just blow up.
Yeah, but I eat like 6 sandwiches a day. Like I eat a lot.
Yeah.
Whole jars of peanut butter, like crazy amounts.
So, like during that morning session, are you like smashing in sandwiches in between, or are you having like carb
No, I don't
drinks?
eat. I don't eat until I get home. Every day, I don't eat until 3 p.m.
Oh wow! So you're doing all that fasted?
Yeah, I just
Uh,
drink energy drink. I start my morning with an energy drink, specifically a Ghost. Hopefully, they'll sponsor me.
Shout out to
And
Ghost. Are there,
water.
is there any carbs in that, or is it just caffeine?
No, it's
Yeah.
just it's caffeine, no carbs. I mean, you can't really tell what's in here.
Theanine, rhodiola, all that sort of
Taurine,
stuff.
neurofactor, some roots, some ginseng roots, caffeine, of course, carnitine.
Mm.
And I'm surprised they don't put creatine in here. They should.
They totally should. They're starting to do creatine gummies and stuff now, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
How much creatine do you take?
If I don't take supplements very often. When I fight, I try to make sure my body has every nutrient that I need. So for creatine, I start 1 week at 20 to 25 grams.
A day?
And then after 1 week, I go down to 10 grams a day. 5 before training, and then 5 after training.
Interesting. So you have a week of loading at
Yeah.
25 a day,
Yep.
and then and how like and this is how many weeks before a fight?
Oh, I have to stop 1 week before weigh-ins taking creatine, so my body can get rid of the excess water.
Right. Oh,
So
because you got all that water in the muscle, right?
I would say if I fight February, let's say I fight February 1st, I would start creatine like now or next. I want it to start as soon as possible. So
So like
now,
3 months out.
I'm just taking it until
So as soon as you
that
start doing
week
like a
comes.
training camp, you
Yeah,
start, yeah,
because
and
I
then
need
you,
more water in my body. I can't if I train on the water that's in my system now, I'll pull muscles, and if I like train like I want to fight, I'll
yeah,
pull muscles. I'll hurt myself. I'll get tired. I won't recover quickly, and I need my cells need water. Our cells need water.
yeah.
So when I'm training overload, I need to, especially at first, my body needs to hold as much water as possible.
What's the reason for not taking it year round?
I don't feel like I need supplements. I just do natural stuff. I don't take protein ever, like never. I don't really take supplements.
Mm,
I don't eat a lot of food, and I don't take anything.
interesting.
I need to just start staying up on my health. So I have started looking into multivitamins, and I need to eat more greens. I know that for sure. I plan on making changes. My what is it? Resolution. By the end of
New
the
Year's
year.
resolution
Yeah,
is to eat
I
more
want to change.
greens.
I want to better my health. So I want to see if I can fix a lot of the issues that I have.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like do you not get like do you not have like a dietitian, like
Yeah, I
someone
do.
to, yeah,
I do, but I know a lot of it myself.
yeah.
I just don't apply it unless I need to. Like when I'm not in camp, I'm just eating whatever.
Mm.
Chick-fil-A is probably my go-to, my
What's that
easiest way
called?
to eat
Sorry,
food. Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. What's that? I've not heard of it.
It's just like a chicken sandwich place.
Oh, a chicken. We call it chicken fillet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
filet, of
okay.
course. Yeah, it's French. Chick-fil-A. Yeah, got it. So outside of camp, like, are you? Yeah, you'll be training still. Yeah.
Yep. I train year round. Because training to me is like someone waking up and like, no, it's Monday, we got to go hit chest. It's
Mm.
like I wake up and I got to go train. It's the same feeling. It's like
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've got to train. Otherwise, I feel like I'm going to tear my hair out. I'll do
And
something worse.
I gain weight so fast. Apparently, my body is at the age where I'm hitting my growth spurt again. So if I don't train, my weight goes up very, very fast. Like one day and my weight is like 5 pounds heavier. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I do. I started measuring my waist just as a daily little thing because obviously the scales, what's muscle, what's not. It's been quite good
If you have
actually.
no reason to be a certain weight, then the scale means nothing.
Mm.
It, yeah.
The
It just,
scale can be so like, oh, yeah, and you look in the mirror and you're kind of like, oh
it'll,
yeah, I'm looking lean, and then you're like, you see a picture, and I'm like, no, you're not.
yeah, no, there's no need to look at the scale unless you have to be a specific weight. Other than that, I would just look at your body and see how you like it. Change the things you don't.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next, I've got a little section where I've got 4 cards in front of me,
Okay.
like conversational cards. Uh, Pick a number between 1 and 4.
4.
4.
4.
What's the most controversial idea that you believe within your industry that most people disagree with?
Controversial idea? Can you give me an example?
Idea or belief. It could be, um, oh no, I don't think you should eat meat, or
Okay.
yeah, or it could be something to do with the politics of UFC, or something that's kind of you're like,
And
oh,
I
like
don't agree with it, or people don't agree with it.
people don't. Maybe people would be surprised to hear, like, oh fucking hell, Mike thinks that.
I don't know. The pay, MMA pay has always been a big controversy out in the world. People think people think we don't get paid enough, and we don't think we get paid enough. So, and we compare payment to like other sports out in the world. NFL players, even starters, are getting paid hundreds of thousands, and we get paid $10,000 to start in the UFC. So it's definitely, crappy. It's very crappy.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because we are I don't know if I can say that we are the most, we're probably the most hard on our bodies than any other sport in the world. Um, we don't have as many eyes, and I think that plays a role, but we're bigger than boxing, and boxers make tens of millions of dollars every fight. I think there's a big greed behind a lot of the MMA world, and it's using us as puppets, gladiators, stuff like that. You know, how they did before, entertainment. Sure, when we do compete, we get that opportunity to build our brand, and then that's what makes us money. And I feel like that's the whole goal of fighters, is to build something that we can use outside of the octagon. But me personally, I think if you the UFC should be very selective, or high level organizations, PFL, Bellator, all that should be very selective of who gets into the UFC. We're going to use UFC because that's who I'm a part of. And if you do get into the UFC, you get a salary plus fight pay. And that fight pay should make sense. $100,000 per fighter to start isn't going to kill you. And then a salary could be minimal, just something we can live on. 50 grand, 50,000 salary, a yearly salary for every fighter that gets on the roster. This way they can support their housing income, their family, stuff like that, make sure they always have food. And then when they do perform and win, and they get their paycheck.
So at the moment, do you say so? You just get 10 grand per fight? Is that what you said?
When you start in the UFC, the payment is 10,000 and 10,000.
It's just a one-off welcome
10,000 to show up and make weight. If you make weight, you get 10 grand. Then, when you win the fight, you get another 10 grand.
Okay.
So you have the opportunity to leave with 20, but
Yeah.
base is 10.
How do you make your money?
Me?
Because it must be expensive, right? Doing everything that you're doing and training and
Yeah, yeah. I make good money fighting. I'm I definitely make good money fighting, but I also do content. I don't stream anymore. I want to get back into it, but I was making it a okay amount of streaming, but doing brand deals is where I make a lot of my money. I probably make as much as I do fighting doing brand deals.
mm. Yeah, it almost feels like I'm going to mention WWE again. I always want to say WWF. um,
WWE.
but like yeah, that's all changed because like back in the day, like people didn't get paid that much, and now they're like millionaires, right?
Awesome. And I'm hoping that something changes in the UFC or where the money just starts to flow in.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I hope that happens for you.
I want to fight more.
Hmm.
This year was supposed to be the year that I was, name up in lights, number next to my name. I beat Drew Dober, and I go on and I fight. Oh, how did I have it set up in my head? I beat Drew Dober, and then I fought Patty, and that would have played out my year, having 3 fights this year, closing off the year. Definitely would have set me up. This setback is crazy.
How many fights do you think you are? How many fight steps or like levels, game bosses are you away from Makachev?
I would say if I win my next 4 in a row, I'm there. I would say
Cool.
if in a perfect world I fight whoever's next, that puts me in the top 15.
Hmm.
Then I fight someone a little higher up, which, like we were saying, man, I like everybody in the top 15. There would be someone in like 10 to 13 range. Then I'd fight someone in the 5 to 8 range.
Hmm.
That's three, right? My next fight. Yeah, okay. So actually, speed it up. Uh, this fight gets me in the top 15, even if it puts me at 15 itself. Then it got a 10 to 13 I would fight. Then it would be 3 to 6 for the third fight. And then I'm right there.
Yeah.
I win that. My next fight could be the champion fight, or
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be against someone in the top
Knocking on that
contender at
door.
least. So 3 wins in a row, and I'm knocking on the door.
I look forward
That's
to
hard
seeing
though,
it.
because the top 15 of the 155s are the most well-rounded fighters in the UFC.
Hmm.
So it's definitely the biggest division. And I want to make sure that I can dominate as I have been.
Yeah, that's cool. I look forward to seeing it. All right, man. Well, I know we're short on time, so I'm gonna start to wrap this up. Um, Before we finish, I've got a little tradition that I do whereby I ask the guest to think about the 2 questions, 2 reflections that they need to ask themselves at the start of each day. So one for yourself, and then maybe one for your audience. Or
A reflection.
yeah, so like what's the thing you need to hear at the start of the day, like a question you need to ask yourself to keep you on track?
Um, Man, a question. Give me 1 second for this. I don't really ask myself anything. I'm so used to just going. Uh, I feel like a goal, if you is not a question, but if you set a goal for the day every day in the morning, would drive you to motivate you to complete the day with that goal in mind.
Yeah, so like
And
what's the highest impact thing I can do today for today to be a success, something like that.
yeah, and with me, I train every day. So when I go to training, I say like today nobody passes my guard. Today I submit everybody I grapple with. Today I don't get hit. I don't get hit as much or at all during sparring sessions, like the stuff like that. And then
So
I go
you'd
with
have-
that mindset and I stick to it.
So it's like little mini mantras of like a specific thing that you're gonna not let
very
happen that day
specific.
or whatever. Yeah.
Don't let it happen, or let something happen. Like I will drop people today. Like I don't know how aggressive you want to be, like that kind of stuff.
Mm. What about for the audience? Anyone? Let's say they're thinking of they want to be an MMA fighter when they're young, when they're older. What's something they need to think about at the start of the day?
No matter how you feel, it's got to be done. And a question you need to ask yourself is, I guess, how bad you want it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're starting off, it's the hardest because you will go train and you will get your ass beat every time. Every time for the first like 3 years, you will get beat up by everybody. And if you don't have the mindset that this is what you want, like I can do this, I can be a good fighter, then you're gonna quit. Everybody quits before they get their blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Mm. Yeah, man, that's cool. Thank you so much. This has been great. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, of
Where
course.
should people go to learn all about Mike Davis and the stuff you do?
My Instagram probably. I use Instagram a lot. I respond to everybody on Instagram. So if you reach out to me, sometimes it does take me a second. I gotta overflow, but I do get back to everybody all the time. And then I do want to start streaming again. I have a party this weekend, so I was going to do the fights this weekend because this card is crazy. This card is crazy good. On what is it, the 7th this week, Saturday?
Mm.
I don't know, but that card is so good. I have to go to a Christmas party, so I will not be able to stream. But I will start as soon as I can. I need to. I'll have a post. I'll do everything. Follow me on Instagram as Mike Davis MMA, and then my streams will be on Kick at Mike Davis UFC.
Awesome. Thank you again, mate. And I hope you have a great day training.
That's gonna be fun.
I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey guys, it's me. Thank you so much for watching that episode and congratulations for making it all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. A few things before you get going. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. And if you enjoyed this episode, the kindest thing you can do for me is to share it with a friend or family member. Don't forget to check out the show notes for links to both my guests and myself. And if you made it this far, why don't you drop me a DM?